This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin with the very latest on COVID-19 case counts throughout the territory. According to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health, 58 people are currently testing positive for COVID-19 territory-wide, with 42 active cases on St. Croix, 16 in St. Thomas, and none currently in St. John. At last check, the COVID variant Omicron had not yet been reported here in the USVI. And at this point, people refusing to get vaccinated against COVID-19 are showing no signs of budging. But experts say it's not only putting lives at risk, it also means we're going to be dealing with this pandemic for much longer.
It's a little like driving through a red light if you're unvaccinated. You accept some risk, but you put others at risk.
Serious illness and death. So far, that hasn't been convincing enough. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 1 in 5 adults still say they definitely won't get a COVID shot.
I and my colleagues in public health and infectious diseases were surprised that the opposition was so strong and came up so quickly.
Kaiser's research also shows politics is playing a big role, with 31% of Republicans saying they definitely won't get vaccinated, compared to just 2% of Democrats.
The virus doesn't care which political party you voted for. It's happy to infect everyone.
But still, the percentage of American adults refusing the shot hasn't moved much. It's hovered around 15% since last December, and the experts say they're running out of options.
One of the things that might persuade some people is if here and there across the country, different jurisdictions, cities, states, make vaccines obligatory to go into certain public spaces.
And beyond making it a must, it's the local message that matters.
Your doctor, as I've been talking about, your minister, your religious leaders, your local political leaders, if they advocate being vaccinated, that's so very important.
Critically important, says Nebraska Medicine's Dr. Mark Rupp.
Unfortunately, SARS-CoV-2, the causative agent for COVID-19, is increasingly contagious.
Meaning 60, 70, even 80% of the population being fully vaccinated likely won't cut it.
So, for instance, with measles, that is truly one of the most infectious agents that we know of, fully 90% or more of the population needs to be immune for that disease not to come back into the population.
And if you're thinking of getting immunity by getting COVID, the doctor says you should think again.
You really do play a chance of getting severe illness, getting hospitalized, potentially dying from the illness.
And that study also found most parents still have concerns about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines for their children. The Kaiser Family Foundation also surveyed more than 1,000 parents in mid-November about vaccinations. It found about 6 in 10 parents say they don't have enough information about the effectiveness, the side effects, or the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in children. And about 3 out of 10 parents said they would definitely not vaccinate their children against COVID because of safety concerns. About a third of parents of kids, younger kids, said they will wait and see before vaccinating their child. St. Croix's Career and Technical Education Center, along with the Department of Education, are highlighting 2 students from the Aviation Academy program. The St. Croix students have spent years learning all the ins and outs of aviation, from cleaning the plane's engines to solo flights, and they continue to soar high to achieve their dreams.
I've been in the CTech aviation program for 4 years. I started in 9th grade, and the first thing we did, like when I started in the beginning, we did aircraft mechanics, which was dealing with the engine. We just did engines. And then like 10th grade to 12th grade, we started on the flying side, and that improved my learning to where I am today.
I have been enrolled in the CTech aviation program for about 3 years now. What I have learned in the program is basically it started off with the components of flight's characteristics, Newton's laws of motions and how they affect an aircraft in the air, and as I progressed with the class, we began to learn about flight, how to maybe plan a flight, whether different regulations a pilot needs to follow, airspace, and right now, which is my third year in the class, I am preparing to take my written exam for my private pilot's license.
Wow, best of luck to those students. From the skies to the water, the Caribbean Charter Yacht Show will set sail starting this Friday at Yacht Haven Grand in St. Thomas. Super yachts available for charter brokers will be on display. The 4-day event will feature entertainment and chefs competitions in addition to those super yachts. Organizers say it's the first super yacht show held outside of the U.S. mainland. 18 yachts are registered for this event. If you're interested in attending, you can visit the website for more information. They ask everyone to be fully vaccinated. Again, the Caribbean Charter Yacht Show kicks off this Friday. In New York, the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell is nearing the end of its second week. And this week, new insights are unveiled into the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, all from photos presented by prosecutors at Maxwell's sex trafficking trial. Reporter Stephanie Gosk is following the story.
There are no dates, no locations, but the photos of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein tell a story of wealth and intimacy, including multiple images of a foot massage on a private jet. The FBI seized these images in a search of Epstein's New York City mansion in 2019, hours after the billionaire financier was arrested on sex trafficking charges. The photos now taking center stage in Maxwell's own sex trafficking trial. Her defense team argues the couple's companionship ended and she became an employee, running Epstein's estates around the world. But testimony from witnesses who knew Maxwell in the early 2000s seemed to challenge that description. The former house manager at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion called Maxwell the lady of the house, and another employee referred to that property as Epstein and Maxwell's home. On the stand Tuesday, an accuser, using her first name, Carolyn, testified that Epstein abused her for years during massage sessions that began when she was just 14 years old. She said she went to the Palm Beach estate over 100 times, 2 to 3 times a week. Epstein paying her as much as $600 for each visit. Carolyn said Maxwell would sometimes set up the appointments herself. The defense pointed out that Carolyn never mentioned Maxwell when she gave a statement to the FBI in 2007. And while she sued Epstein and another associate, she never sued Maxwell.
The prosecution is blazing through its case after predicting the trial could take 4 to 6 weeks. Now they say it could take less than 2, wrapping up as soon as this week. Maxwell, of course, is accused of finding teenage girls for Jeffrey Epstein's alleged sex abuse ring. It's once again raising awareness to the horrors of human trafficking. As our USVI News' Keelan Berrien reports, students at a Pennsylvania university are educating other students about the issue.
Ghislaine Maxwell is on trial for her alleged role in recruiting young girls for Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring.
The defendant was trafficking kids for sex. That is what this trial is all about.
The case putting human trafficking back on the spotlight, students at Mercyhurst University are preparing to be on the front lines in the fight against human trafficking and child labor. Samantha Woods is a double major in international studies and focuses on human trafficking in Ireland. She says Ireland is ranked tier 2 on the watch list.
They're still not doing enough. They've done a lot of reforms and laws being passed, but it's still not enough.
However, the United States is ranked in tier 1. At a recent event, 6 groups presented human trafficking cases in different regions of the world. According to Woods, child labor and trafficking is a real issue in the country.
It is slowly decreasing. It's still obviously an issue, but the victim identification, they don't feel safe enough or are able to come forward.
Child labor trafficking is considered the most overlooked form of human trafficking. With Christmas nearing and our current situation with the pandemic, child labor is seen more than before.
It's the mindfulness behind what we do as consumers, because we have a crucial role that we can play in this entire network of human trafficking to really stop it or to mitigate the issues.
When you buy a shirt made overseas, you don't think of it being produced by a child forced to do it. But Dr. John Denzel wants people to realize it's possible.
This is the part that we sometimes do not see, and it's the part that really hurt millions of children, women, boys, and men on a regular basis.
Keelan Berrien, USVI News.